Hello, today we will be discussing Human Resource Information Systems, also known as HRIS. For our agenda today, we will first go through the definition of HR information systems, followed by the purpose of these systems. We will then look at the four main components that go into a typical HRIS. We will look at the advantages for companies in using HR information systems, and then we will take a look at the current trends in the marketplace. Finally, we will discuss how HR information systems can tie into corporate social responsibility. First, we will talk about the definition. There are several definitions for HR information systems, but I chose this one because I thought it was a great representation of how human resources and information technology intersect through an HR software solution to give you HR information systems. There are four main purposes of an HR information system, and as you can see by this graphic, they are all interconnected, and one supports the next. The first that we will talk about is better access to data. This is true both within and outside of the typical HR function. With an HRIS, people have better visibility into the data and more access into the system. This leads to improved efficiency because all of the information is not being funneled through your typical HR department, and you do not have the bottlenecks that could result from that. You also can reduce the double entry of data. The third purpose is to provide people, again, inside and outside of HR, access to better data. This will give managers better information to make decisions. And the better the information is, the better the decision. So that leads us to our fourth purpose, which is truly the ultimate purpose, is to provide the best data possible so you can improve the decisions that the managers are using to run the business. There are four main components to an HRIS system, each of which we will talk about in further detail. These components include payroll, time, benefits, and HR management. Payroll is the first component that we will discuss. In general, the purpose of payroll as part of an HR information system is to provide a company's employees with either paychecks or direct deposit service to facilitate the payment of the employees. As part of that service, providers often also take care of the taxes on both the employee and employer side of the equation. Deductions are also often tracked through HRIS. At the end of the year, providers will give employees and employers W-2s to help with filing their taxes. The second component of a typical HR information system is tracking time and attendance. As you can imagine, this involves clocking in and out for hourly employees. In recent years, the options for time clocks have become quite sophisticated. As you can see here, some even go as far as monitoring an employee's handprint in order to clock them in or out. The time module can also be used to allocate the employee's time to different departments. This is especially useful in industries where it is important to assign appropriate costs to specific jobs. The time module also covers tracking the paid time off of employees or vacation time. Benefits is the third component in a typical HR information system. Often this module includes an option for an online open enrollment of benefits for a company's employees. This helps to reduce the manual work on the HR department as well as reduce errors because it is dependent on the employee to make their selections. Some providers also provide direct connections to benefit carriers, again, to cut down on errors and manual intervention. 401k is also provided under benefits for certain providers. The final component in a typical HR information system that we will be discussing today is the HR management module. This is often seen as the broadest of the modules because it covers a variety of topics. Employee information is often included in the HR management section and includes tracking simple information such as an employee's address, their hire date, and their manager. HR management can also cover applicant tracking to cover the recruiting process, and it can also kick off workflows for performance reviews, all of which can be housed entirely within the information system. Some systems will also provide organizational charts without any additional work on the part of the HR team. Next, we will be discussing the advantages of an HR information system. The first advantage is data storage. By having the data stored electronically, it provides a couple of benefits. First, it allows HR access to their data in a searchable format. It also allows HR to put more security and regulations around who has access to that data. Historically, many HR functions store their data in file cabinets, which may or may not be secure. It is also not very user-friendly to find data if it's needed. The second advantage is the additional reporting and analytics capabilities that are inherent in an HR information system. By having all of the data stored together, it allows management to access either dashboards or standard reports with just a few clicks of a few buttons. The next advantage is that many systems include workflow management. This allows a process to go through a workflow in order to be completed. This will reduce the amount of time that someone spends on following up to see if someone has completed their portion of the workflow. Finally, it allows employees and managers to have self-service tools. For example, employees can go in and change their own direct deposit amounts, or they can go and check on their check stub online to see how much was taken out of their check for taxes. These are only a few of the advantages for HR information systems. Now that we have discussed many of the components of a typical HR information system, I would like to know if you have ever used self-service HR tools with your employer. Please provide your answer in the discussion section in Canvas. Also, if the answer is yes, please provide additional details on what self-service HR tools you have experience with. There are a few trends in the HR information systems industry that are becoming more prevalent. The first trend is that HR companies are moving to the cloud. This is consistent with other technology industries and should not be much of a surprise. The second trend is an increase in mobile access from providers to both employers and employees. For example, employees may be able to pull up their check stubs directly from their phone. The third trend is an increase in business intelligence and dashboarding capabilities. This is to provide managers with access to their data in a more timely fashion and to provide them with information to make better decisions. Finally, with the recent changes in healthcare, there has been an increase in assistance for regulation and compliance for employers. I wanted to wrap up our conversation on HR information systems by tying it back to our topic of the week of corporate social responsibility. There is a connection between HRIS and CSR. For example, HR information can be used to track and report on the CSR activities of a company. If a company wants to determine if they are truly an equal opportunity employer, it can use the information that is readily available in the HR information system to determine if they have a gender disparity or any other disparity that would make them non-compliant with the equal opportunity employer goal. Employers can also determine if they have safe working conditions by logging all of the accidents into the HR system and using the analytical capabilities of the system to report on trends that may be occurring. To end our presentation, I wanted to share with you a few of the vendors that operate in the HR information system space. That way, if you would like additional information, you can research these vendors. For even more information, please check out the sources that were used for this presentation. Thank you for spending the time with me today to learn more about HR information systems. Have a great day.